Do 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 do. Hello, everybody. How are you guys? Sorry, I'm a bit late by 7 minutes. I was fixing up my webcam. I'm using my iPhone. I'm using this fancy DNC BNC HNC software, and it wasn't quite working, but I got it. So, just gonna wait for people to come in. If you're watching this as a pre-recorded, there might be a lot of pauses, but that's just how it is. I'm sure there will be. Just I'll put like a time code for when the um, like the questions start to roll in. You can just skip to that. Make it easier for you to navigate. Do 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 do. Oh yeah, I could listen to some music while I wait. Hey, Nearbo man, nice to see you, and you're very welcome. Looks like I'm gonna put on some music. Okay, so oh, 7 viewers. Okay, uh, Hector, thanks for this live. Yeah, you're very welcome. How to make your ex fall in love once you're sleeping together again. So it really depends on what exactly you broke up for. So did you break up because you ended it, or she broke up with you? And usually when a girl breaks up with you, most of the time it's because, I mean, on occasion, it's because you were too much of a player and causing anxiety, but that's the more rare case. But if that's the case, let me know. But if it's like, oh, I fell out of love with you, blah blah blah, that was usually just you weren't fucking her right anymore. She lost respect for you. Um, you started to get weak, you started to get jealous, whatever it is. If it's any of those, your best bet is to treat her like a fuck buddy. Like it's a girl that you just met and you're just smashing. Do not ask her to get back together. Do not try to do anything. Almost act like you're restarting the relationship. You're doing the same old process that you would with a normal chick that you're seducing, right? By the way, guys, let me know if my mic volume is okay. Um, but you want to treat it like it's just a new girl, because essentially you have to treat it like a new relationship because the old relationship died, right? Does that make sense? Kind of like the idea of self-improvement is you kill the old you and you're reborn. Well, so you have to kill the old relationship. So you have to treat this like a brand new relationship. And the best way to make a girl go crazy for you once she's fucking you is to not be chasing her, asking her for a relationship, just being cool, right? And that's especially true because you've already dated her. So it's purely about arousal and respect at this point. How do you attract a secure woman who is emotionally healthy and stable? The way you phrase that is like, oh, seduction only works on broken women. It's like, no, seduction is the same always, right? We're not designing some new system of communication that is outside the parameters of normal communication. Like, game is game, right? How do you attract a secure woman? You attract her like any other woman. But do not try to play games that sometimes work on broken women. And I don't advise you ever play games. You don't need to play games. Games are unnecessary. Hey, Khalil. You're welcome, man. Khalil Yusuf. You are from... Are you Lebanese? That's my guess. I'm probably wrong. But I would guess Lebanese, but maybe Yusuf. No, Yusuf, are you Saudi? Algeria. Oh, shit. I wouldn't have gotten that. But living in France. Okay. That's close to Lebanon, isn't it? Is my geography good? Where is Algeria on the map? No, Algeria is in northern fucking Africa. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Why was I? Oh, I was thinking Libya, not Lebanon. I was thinking Libya. I had an L on my mind. I'm a silly goose, though. Yeah, Morocco, Tunisia. Oh, you're living in France because you guys speak French in Algeria, right? Because in Tunisia, they speak French. I know that they speak French in Tunisia, so probably in Algeria. This guy is not smart. Yeah, I was living in Europe for 7 years and I still suck at geography. But hey, man, name all 50 states in America, right? Well, yeah, of course you speak Arabic. Of course you speak Arabic. But I'm just saying, like, French is the additional language that you speak. Okay, so Vilethorn, back to your thing with your breakup. Um, okay, so you were hurting her with your words and not listening to her, so it wasn't a value issue. Oh, okay, then it's pretty much the opposite. You should be just slathering this girl with communication, with compliments, with affection, with time, right? Your biggest thing is that when you spend time with her, you need to pay attention to her. You can spend 1 hour with a girl and her feel completely satisfied with that hour you spent with her, especially if sex is involved. A lot of sex. Um, Sex is like one of the strongest ways you can bond, but obviously you need to, talk to her too. So, um, spend a lot of time with her, but spend quality time with her, right? It could just be a couple hours, but really pay attention to her, listen to her, and go over again why you guys broke up in the first place, and reiterate that you intend to not make that same mistake again. But then, of course, you actually have to walk the walk, right? You can't just talk the talk, you have to walk the walk. Um, as a university student, is cold approaching a good idea on campus? If you are decent, if you're like intermediate, meaning you've been with like, let's say 10 to 15 chicks, if you're starting to actually get some experience, that's when I would say you can cold approach on campus. I think if a girl gives you a blatant invitation, you should approach no matter what. But if you really want to start cold approaching, you need to be at least intermediate. When I started approaching on campus, I was in the teens of like lays, so I knew what I was doing, right? I was also pretty well known, which could it be a negative, but it's also a positive because if a girl asks around about me, then she knows I'm not some random weirdo. Also, if your campus is bigger, that helps. I was in a small campus. I thought my campus was 8,000. It's actually closer to 6 or even 4. Can't remember exactly. Because I'm rewriting my college book to like fix it up and clean it up and get rid of some of the shit parts of it. And I looked at the population of my university, and it's not 8. It's like closer to 6 with graduate students. So it was risky, but even I did it there. So I know a lot of pickup tactics are avoidant attachment style, and it tends to attract anxious women, which is why I'm asking about secure women. Can you give us some insight on healthy seduction? So the reason why you shouldn't be, okay, how do I say this? You shouldn't be trying tactics, right? Oh, how many hours do you play? How many video game hours do I play a day? Like 8. I play video games like it's my job because I don't do anything else now. I work, I spend time with my girl, and I play video games or I meditate. That's my life now. So all that time I would have spent gaming girls, I played video games all day. Plus I earned it. I did my thing with girls. So the way you see pickup is just wrong. Flying guinea pig. There's a you have a thing in your mind like, oh, this is what I do in this situation. This is my tactic here. You need to see game as I'm trying to build a connection with this girl and turn her on, right? Instead of, oh, I'm doing this specific tactic at this time, right? There's a few things that like we recommend, like, you know, be the last one to text, da da da, and these things do induce anxiety, but they're really not meant to induce anxiety. They're meant to prevent you from being too interested. There's a distinction there. So one is kind of like an offensive strategy, and there's a defensive strategy of seduction. We're more interested in defensive strategies. Offensive strategies is like, I'm trying to create this reaction in you. And the problem with shit like that is it can be a bit toxic. What I'm interested in is, I'm gonna react to what you like to talk about and talk about that and avoid things you don't like to talk about. Avoid any unnecessary hiccups in the seduction, you know, awkward pauses, situations, blah, blah, blah. And I want to avoid fucking it up rather than trying to force it to happen. Because once a girl is attracted to you, you just have to like touch her. I'm simplifying it by saying you just have to, right? What you really need is a few, you know, instances of physical touch to communicate, hey, you know, I'm looking to be a bit more intimate here. Have a sexual tonality and body language. Down the road, sexuality is really hard to pull off. It's like the advanced thing. But you want to at least give us some signals that you're interested in sex, non-verbally, right? Very few guys will pull off the verbal sex game. And then build a connection with her. Like, so much of the seduction is actually building a connection. Because even if a girl, I've had many girls tell me this, like, even if we're just fucking, I still need some romance. And even if she's a hoe, she still needs romance. Trust me, I've treated hoes like hoes, and a lot of times they auto-reject. Sometimes you can get away with it. But a lot of times, even a big whore needs, like, some affection and love. Because at the end of the day, she's a human being, right? So, I want to just avoid fucking up. That's my seduction style, is minimize, reduce risks. And I'm a huge risk taker in seduction, right? Because I'm a very direct. So I have a risky style, but even then, I'm just attempting to reduce risk. So, if you're dealing with a healthy woman, your goal is to avoid coming off too toxic. But healthy women, all women like a man who is a bit dangerous is not the right word. Wild. Like, a girl doesn't want a guy who's like, I love you and you're the other. Because from her mind, you don't know her. You shouldn't be all about her already. You don't know her. So if a guy loses his shit over a girl, she's like, well, this guy obviously doesn't have good judge of character. Because anyone with a good judge of character is going to take time before he fully commits. But you should be sexually interested, because sexual interest doesn't require a complicated courtship process of getting to know who she is and making sure she's not fucking crazy and blah, blah, blah. It's very simple. I have a dick, I look at you, and I get aroused, and my dick gets hard by looking at you, and I want to fuck you. And it comes off as confident because you're not scared. You're just a sexual guy. They want to see that in you. And that sexuality plus not immediately committing to her, basically, and going crazy for her, is the perfect combination, because by a natural consequence of being a sexual guy but not being infatuated with her, you're going to want to fuck other girls because you're not sure this is the girl you want to settle down with. Right? Does that make sense? Really think about that. Sexual guy wants to fuck, unashamed, right? But he's not fully committed to this girl because he doesn't even know her yet. So by consequence, you're going to be courting other girls and presumably fucking other girls, which also speaks to your ability and your attractiveness. So even the most secure, attached, healthy woman is going to love that, no matter what. That's why all the romance novels have A bad boy who likes to fuck a lot of girls, but then commits to her after time. But even some of the romance novels and movies get it wrong where he falls in love with her immediately. That's the unrealistic part. That's where the fantasy comes in. A lot of the other parts are pretty realistic. Okay. Hi Hector, want to know why it's hard to elevate it after getting her numbers? They always reject after I get numbers. What? Elevated after... Oh, if you're getting rejected after the numbers, then it's either you're texting. Here, it's simple. If she's not responding to your first text, it's your interaction. She gave you the number, but it wasn't really genuine. If you get rejected once the conversation's going, then it's your texting. And, like, if she stops responding. But if she's not interested in a date, it's mostly your texting, but it could have been a little bit of your interaction. Like, she likes you enough to kind of flirt with you, but not enough to go on a date with you. But it's probably your texting. So you got to tell me where exactly you're getting rejected, because you're just saying I get rejected after the number. You got to tell me specifically where. Khalil, I will soon be a single father with a daughter that will live mostly with her mother. I will see her 2 times a month. I must admit that my fear is my dating life will be hard with this baggage. So let me ask you a question. Do you see your, like, I'm going to ask this question and it might come off harsh, but do you see your daughter as baggage, or you're just aware that having a daughter will make it difficult? Like, what's your perspective? Because I hope it's the second. I hope you don't see your daughter as... I'm assuming you don't see your daughter as baggage, right? I'm assuming that your perspective is, I love my daughter and I want to take care of her, but I know that it's going to make dating difficult. I think it's going to make your dating life easier. Because when a woman finds out that you've already procreated, like, that means that a woman dated you, so it's confirmed pre-selection, right? You have literally inseminated another woman, and she had and brought the child to, you know, out and had it, birthed it. So you are worthy of the complete process of procreation, right? That's a very good sign. And it shows you're fertile. Honestly, both. See, at least you're being honest, right? I'm glad you're being honest. So I'm guessing, are you a bit younger, and you probably, you know, you were a bit irresponsible and busted inside of a chick, and had a kid when you were maybe not ready for it? That's good. At least you're honest, right? Because if you're just like, oh yeah, no, I love my daughter, like, she's the greatest thing in the world, like, of course. Like, it's normal to see a child in some way as, like, especially if you're single now, as like, fuck, you know? I can see how it might be difficult. So at least you're honest about it. So what I would do is I would investigate that feeling of, like, my daughter is a shackle of some sorts, right? You're 31. Okay. No, so you're not too young. Yeah, no, it's um but wait, how old is your daughter? Wait, I missed that part. Yeah, so how old is your daughter? Is she like an infant, or is she like growing up? So it requires less responsibility. That's also, I'm asking these questions because obviously it's going to be important. Like, is your new girlfriend going to have to play stepmommy, or is she going to have to be like step nurse? Your daughter is 5 days old, and then you're breaking up with the mother. This doesn't sound that. This sounds like a shitty situation. So is this not a girl that you, like, wanted to have a kid with? Like you accidentally impregnated her? Yeah, this is a bit complicated. I would suggest we do some coaching. This is complicated. This is complicated. If you're interested in maybe doing some coaching, this would be something. It's very hard to do this over. Uh, yeah, this is hard to do over a live stream. But I would say my basic advice would be you just gotta own it. You just gotta own it. Just I have a daughter. It's a good sign in that you procreate and be the best be a good father too. That's very attractive to a woman, right? Because maybe down the road you want to have a kid with a new girl who ends up actually being like your, like one that you wanted to have, right? Um, but be a very good father. That's one of my biggest tips to you. It'll help with your dating life. If you feel like she's a burden, it's gonna create a burden. If you feel like she's a boon, then she's a boon, right? Um, Yusuf, just message me on Instagram. Here. Message me on Instagram. And we'll do a chat. And do a consultation and go over like options. Okay, how to make here we go. Shit, 1 second. I just had a conversation with a girl, and she said that she doesn't want to date because she doesn't think she's worth anything, and just putting herself down a lot. We recently stopped speaking. What does it mean? Are these things just excuses? Did I not do so? So she might have insecurity issues. She very clearly could have insecurity issues. A lot of people do. But trying to uplift a girl who has insecurity issues doesn't work unless you're fucking her. If you're fucking her, you have a stronger ability. But you have to fuck her a couple times. Because if she doesn't trust you and doesn't see you as high value, then she's not going to respect your opinion. So if she doesn't fuck you, she doesn't respect you. Oh, Khalil, I'm reading the rest of your stuff. No, that concern is not. You're not a failure. No, no, they're not going to have that opinion. Basically, the main thing the struggle they're gonna have with you is just like, are they ready to be a stepmommy? But a lot of women, it's much easier for a woman to be a stepmommy than for a man to be a stepdaddy. Spoon Kid, what are you playing nowadays? What's my job? My job is this. Yeah, I've been living off of this job for 6 years. What am I playing now? I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'm playing Street Fighter 6. I'm practicing, getting my game up. And then, because I'm back in America now, so I'll want to go to some tournaments for Street Fighter, but I need some more practice. I'm still not very good. And I'm playing Hi-Fi Rush. It's a really cool game. But Baldur's Gate and Street Fighter mainly, because Baldur's Gate is quite a fucking commitment. Hector, I want to approach, but I... Oh yeah, sorry, D-Man Goza. It's mainly an excuse. So if you weren't fucking her, then... You know... then that's the biggest issue. You needed to seduce her first. Plus, it's such a drag dealing with an insecure chick. Oh, Lewis, sorry, I missed yours. What's your take on handsome game? The better looking you are, the less effort you need to put in. Which sounds like, oh, it's easy. No, it actually is hard. Putting in a little bit of effort with seduction is like one of the most difficult things to do. Like, having the discipline to restrain yourself is really difficult in seduction. You want to tease her, you want to try so hard. I had a client who's a gorgeous guy. He's gorgeous. And My biggest advice to him was stop trying so hard, stop teasing girls, and just go for sex. And for like a year and a half, he never did it. And then finally, he believed me, and he did it. And he just started pulling girls immediately and escalating. He's like, "What? I started getting laid." I'm like, "Hey, you spent thousands of dollars to hear me tell you that, and then finally you get it." Because they were already really attracted to him. Obviously, he has to do. It's not as easy as you think it is. Like, he still has to seduce her, but he has to put in less effort. One of the hardest things in the world is to try, but not try too hard. It's very difficult. It's more easy to try too hard. So you have to build a connection, escalate, but not thirsty. Hector, I wanna approach, but I don't have my finances checked, and I live with my family. Should I just man up and approach? Yes. You can still do approaches. You don't have to take her home. You can still get approaches. And who knows, dude? If you seduce a girl, go back to her place. Like, that's an excuse you're creating to not do some work. You don't have to do the big enchilada, like, pull her home to my own place, da-da-da. Dude, if you can pull girls in your situation now, imagine how much easier it's going to be once you actually have a place. It's going to be insane. It's going to be so freeing. What should I know to approach women in their 20s? I am 32. Nothing. Just go approach. There's literally nothing that's stopping you. There's nothing you have to change. Just go approach. I know you think that there's something more you have to do. No. Hector, I want to approach this chick at Walmart that normally works at the till. Works the till. You're British. She kind of knows me. Every time I go to that store, she tries to crack a joke or ask me how I'm doing. Too scared to ask for a number because she's a 10 out of 10. Was thinking maybe I should just ask for her instant, take her from there. I mean, dude. Just ask her out. Like, I know that sounds easy. I know it's not easy. But I'm telling you, just get the words out of your mouth. Next time you see her, you're going down the till, and you say to the darling, "Hello." My accent's horrible. I'm just going to stop before I even start. Like, I'm trying to imagine the situation. Okay, you're in the line. Make eye contact with her. Eye contact. You go up. You start doing things. "Hey, how are you doing?" "Oh, I'm doing good. How are you?" Da da da. And you say, "Hey, you know what? I gotta be honest. You're really cute." "Oh my god, thank you so much." And then just say, "I would love to take you out for a coffee sometime." That's it. I would really like to take you out for a coffee. It's so simple, dude. I promise you. Because, like I said earlier with Handsome Guy Game, just doing the work, but with the least amount of effort possible, is actually one of the hardest things to do. It's like the least, like, did you guys watch Sean Strickland versus Adesanya? Right? No one thought that Strickland was going to win the middleweight championship, and he just obliterated Adesanya. And all he did was use a very simple, the Philly shell. You know what Floyd Mayweather uses? He just came up, and he was just like in his face, right? Yeah, Deshaun. Deshaun Strickland, right? So he just came up, and he was just like in his face. He had the most simple fucking come up, cross, jab cross. Come up, jab cross, jab cross. And it destroyed Adesanya, because Adesanya is this like fancy counter striker, and this guy's just like, nope, I'm in your face, I'm in your face, I'm in your face. And it worked, right? So good seduction is like that. It's just, you get in there, and you just do the 1-2, do the 1-2, do the 1-2. Right? Do the simple, the basics. Hey, you know what? I think you're really cute, and I'd like to take you out for a coffee. That's it. So, when you give that level of just enough investment, it's really powerful. And if she's interested in you, she'll respond well. So, yeah, man. When you're afraid to go for this and you go for this, it almost always loses. Always go for this. Always go for the greater thing. And then if you miss, it's like that really gay saying, what's it called? Like, shoot for the stars, and even if you miss, you'll still land on the moon. Like, it's fucking cheesy, but there's some truth to it. Okay, oh, let me jump to this mustache guy. He just gave $10, so I'm gonna... I gotta give attention to... You know, this is cool. I appreciate it. It's the first time I've gotten a tip on a live chat. I've recently moved for college, and I'm solo cold approaching, and don't want to necessarily be seen as the weird pickup guy. Yeah. Should I avoid cold approaching on campus and do it where I don't frequent? So, I think I kind of went over this a little bit earlier. I think there was another guy who said something about cold approaching on campus. It might have been you. Oh, no. See, no, not here. Where the fuck was it? Anyways, doesn't matter. Okay, so here's what I'm going to tell you. So I told you I'm redoing my college book, kind of cleaning it up, you know, doing a revised edition, second edition. And I'm going over this right now, actually, so it's really on my mind. So I'm looking back now at my reputation in college. Okay, first of all, it'll mean nothing the day after you graduate. I promise you, I was the most popular guy in college. Everyone fucking knew me. The day I graduated, none of it meant anything. Like, there was a few girls who, like, kept in touch with me and, like, would watch what I was doing. But I had left and I was in Europe. So none of it had any importance, right? It meant nothing. It ceased to be important the moment I graduated. So I was at the top of the world, and then I'm just a nobody out in the world, okay? So that should be a little bit of a sobering realization when it comes to how much you care about your reputation. Okay. But you did just start your journey. So I'm not saying reputation doesn't matter either, but I'm just giving you a long-term view on it. You have 4 years. Now, you do need to be careful with your reputation. Okay. But I also want you to realize that it doesn't really matter that much. But for the next 4 years, it does matter. It's kind of, don't be attached, but you have to be attached enough because it does affect your life, okay? So just keep that in mind. Secondly, how good are you? If you're a beginner, I would suggest easing off of the cold approach on campus for now. I would say wait until like you're a sophomore or a junior for like day game cold approach. But you should definitely be cold approaching at night. Cold approaching at night, it's like forgiven a little bit. Now, you could still be a player, sure. But it's a little bit more forgiving. However, I would suggest you put the majority of your focus on social circle. You need to start learning social skills, social customs, social norms, right? You need to learn the basics of, you know, how to respond to people's emotions, how to like recognize body language, how to not be awkward, how to keep conversation going but also not be too try hard. Like, you need to focus on social circle. That's why I think I had a lot of strength. Was my focus was on social circle for the first couple of years. So I built up the social instincts. Then once I started doing cold approach, it came really easily because I had a good foundation. Now, does this mean you shouldn't do any cold approach at all? No. You should definitely do a free cold approach. Like, if you see a girl and she is gorgeous, I would say go for it. And if a girl gives you a really clear invitation, you should also go for it. I don't know if you have my my day game course, right? I'll put it in the description. It's, one second. Meet girls everywhere. Here. This is my course. Oh, wait, one second. Actually, I have a better link for you. I have a better link. Don't use that link. I have a different link that gives me more % on the sale, basically. Or no, I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's the same link. Never mind. It'll just track the traffic from YouTube. So, I suggest you get that, right? That's for a day game. That'll teach you everything about day game. And what you want to be doing is focusing on girls you're really, really, really attracted to, because the chances of you actually meeting her through a social circle environment is very low, right? So you also don't want to be the guy who lets the everything run through his fingers. So how do you not become the creepy pickup guy? Is you limit your approaching to girls you're really attracted to, or give you approach invitations. That way you'll be doing like a few approaches a week at max, probably a couple, yeah. Then you make sure to be very, very calm and relaxed. Right? Don't be overboard. Don't be. I started doing cold approach senior high school, and I've been doing social circle for a while. Okay, so you have some practice. So I think you should still stick, because you're a freshman, and I highly suggest that you should get my college book. I'm rewriting it right now. Because there's some bad stuff. Like, I tell guys to cheat on their girlfriend, which is very bad, right? That was back when my morals weren't that good. So I would say avoid that. But if you can get my college book, and make sure to don't even get a girlfriend in college. That's my biggest advice, right? Don't get a girlfriend in college. Just fucking don't. And don't cheat on anyone if you do end up dating anyone. And don't fuck girls with boyfriends, right? That's another thing I'm fixing in my book. I'm making sure to make it clear. Do not fuck girls with boyfriends. Okay? You'll wait for the revised version. Okay, good. Now, you could understand those things and profit from the book, okay? But just, here we go. I don't want you to... You send me a message on Instagram, and I'll send it to you for free, my college book. Okay? I'll just send it to you for free. Okay? So... And then I'll send you the revised edition once it's done. As long as you make sure, don't fuck a girl with a boyfriend. I don't advocate drinking. I know you're going to drink, but I can't advocate it. Don't fuck girls with boyfriends, and don't cheat, and treat people nicely. As long as you understand that, everything else in my book is perfect. Anyways, so you have some experience. Focus on girls you're really, really attracted to, like your 10 out of 10s, and girls who give you approach invitations. That'll just limit most problems with... How you'll get the creepy playboy reputation is by doing it like crazy over and over and over and over and over again. And I did a lot, but I didn't get the creepy reputation. I just got a playboy reputation. Why no girlfriend? Look, if you find an amazing girl, who am I to tell you to not date her? But my best advice would be... The problem is, a lot of guys who get girlfriends in college end up marrying them. And I think that the chances of you finding the girl that you're going to end up with... I mean, I don't know for sure. But I think the chances of you finding the girl that you are going to be with in college is very low. Because I don't think you should really see a girl as a girlfriend candidate until she's 25 plus. Because she hasn't yet shown what she's going to become. Like, you don't know a girl's going to go through a hoe phase or not until she's in her mid-20s. Once she's 25, she would have already done her hoe phase. Some girls are late bloomers, but that's one thing. Secondly, you need to see her get a career and finish her education and get a career. How does she handle real life? Some people can handle college just fine. Some people can't handle because they have a track. But some people can't handle the Wild West nature of real life. Plus, I think you need to get some experience. So as much experience as you can get. Now, you are going to be lacking in a little bit of relationship experience, but what you can do is have casual relationships. Like, you can have girls on rotation, which will teach you how to treat women, how to communicate with women, how to care about them, how to deal with... You'll have drama on occasion, right? It'll teach you most of what you need to know. But I think you just need to get a lot of experience. Honestly. And I don't think you even know what you like or what you want. Plus, when you're in college, you're still young and you're still learning how to respect yourself. You're going to put up with a lot of bullshit. Like, I look back at some of the shit I put up with in college, and I'm like, holy fuck, I was retarded. Like, now, if I even smelt a whiff of some of that behavior, I'd have been like, get the fuck out of here. What the fuck? You trying to make me jealous? Do you know who I am? Like, no way. No, I wouldn't have put up with 80% of what I put up with, right? So you're going to be young and you're going to think that putting up with certain stuff is okay. But if you just get a bunch of experience and you just like fuck girls and you don't give in to having a relationship, you're going to see all your other, you know, fraternity brothers or friends or whatever having relationships, and you're just going to see what they go through. And you're going to be like, I never want to go through that. And then what you realize is that once you get in a relationship, you're going to have very strong boundaries, and you're going to have a very strong, you're going to know what you don't want. And that's just as important as knowing what you want. So you're going to see all these relationships, all this behavior from women who are going to try and get you in relationships. They're going to make you jealous. They're going to play games. And you're going to be like, this is all not what I want. And if you really know you don't want a relationship, you're going to see the games of women. And once you are ready for a relationship, you're going to realize how important it is to not want a relationship from a place of wanting a relationship. I don't know if that makes sense. But a relationship should be something that emerges naturally from dating a bunch of girls, and then the best girl just emerges. Rather than what happens for a lot of guys is a girl does emerge, but it's purely attraction. And they just go, oh my god, this girl's hotter than the rest. Boom. That's why I dated my party girlfriend, because she was the hottest girl I'd been with at the time. But then now I've had tons of girls hotter than her. And I'm like, fuck. I went through all this drama and bullshit just for a hoe. Like, by every definition, a hoe. Who, you know, I mean, she's hot, but like now she's like barely an 8 to me. Like, she had some good features, but, you know, she's like an 8, maybe. So, I would suggest that you avoid having a girlfriend. That's just a few of the reasons. Plus, I just want you to clean up, man. You'll clean up. Because my number would be even higher. And it's not super important. The relationship experience I did have helps me teach you guys, right? But you're not trying to be a dating coach. You're trying to have a healthy relationship, right? So you don't have to learn everything that I learned. But if I hadn't spent all those years in relationships that I did, dude, I would have double my leg count. But it's good that I did go through all that shit because it helps teach you guys. I needed to learn the lessons. But you can just learn the lesson from me, which is why you pay me, right? And so you avoid the bullshit yourself. That's the beauty of going to someone who has knowledge, is you avoid going through the bullshit yourself. So, that's, but if you do want to do a crazy cold approach, is there a city nearby? If there's a city nearby you, just go there. If you want to do mass cold approach, and that'll help you practice as well. Exactly. So just go somewhere where you're not. And just go nuts. Okay. Ukrainian punk. Hey, Dobry din. It's fucking like, man, you're up at like midnight. No, you're only 8 hours ahead. So it's like 8 p.m. Okay. What city are you in? I was in Kyiv. My wife is from Kyiv. But go out every weekend and pool. Okay, I eventually settled down with a great girl who's only with 2 guys. Some days I miss the weekend game hooking up with hoes. Is this normal? Yes! Yes! It's very normal. So, here's the good news and the bad news. So the good news is, the bad news is, this will never go away. You're never going to stop sometimes wishing you can go out and fuck some fucking whore. And just bend her over and just like ravage her pussy. That will never go away. You're always going to have that desire. So that's the bad news. The good news is, you're always going to have that desire. So you can just accept it. It's always going to be there. It's just going to be a mosquito that annoys you. And you discipline it. So it gives you an opportunity to discipline your lust. It's a great demonstration of love to your girlfriend or eventually your wife. It builds character. And if you're interested in going down the journey of gaining enlightenment, you are going to have to discipline your lust. So practicing with monogamy is going to help you on that journey towards enlightenment. Now, that's a totally different ball game, right? That's Buddhism. This is a seduction channel, right? But, and eventually, the better news is it is possible to get rid of that feeling, but you have to kill lust. You have to throw the baby with the bathwater too. If you get rid of lust entirely, you'll never have a craving for any woman, right? But unfortunately, yes, a lot of guys try to deny it, but I'm just gonna tell you, you can have a woman that you love so much, you still want to fuck other pussy. It'll never go away. And I'm open with my wife about it. I'm like, baby, I still want to fuck pussy, right? And she likes the fact that I'm honest about it. But it's never gonna go away unless you gain enlightenment, right? Or it requires the third stage of enlightenment. It's called anagami. Is when you kill lust. But you can gain the first stage of enlightenment for now, and you're fine. Or the second even. But no, it's not gonna go away. So get used to it. If you know a girl has a boyfriend from seeing her Instagram, not her telling you, do you ask her on any different drinks or make it more casual so she'll likely agree? No. If a girl has a boyfriend, you do not proceed. End of story. No exceptions. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Hell is very hot, my friend. It's very hot. Don't do it. No matter how good you think it'll be, it's not worth it. What's your MBTI personality? Which one is MBTI? Is that like the INTG shit? Yeah, I forgot what it is. I forgot what it is, honestly. I like the Enneagram one. I'm a 1 on the Enneagram test. This is me. Whew. Mosa, I'm interested in coaching also. Yeah, message me on Instagram. Like I said, let me know you're coming from the live stream, so I know that you came through this funnel. How to make avoidant attachment women fall in love with you? The same way you make normal healthy women fall in love with you. You fuck them really hard, and you have a good connection with them, and you don't chase after them, but you do give them affection. Okay. DS has a woman. What type of guy is the best for me? Lover, boyfriend, and would you advise to get popular and get a high status guy? So the thing about a high status guy is he'll probably cheat on you. I mean, if you accept that, then it'll make it easier. But a guy who cares about status is he's very likely to be chasing that fulfillment of like getting new girls. Um, so for a woman, this is a difficult answer. Your best bet is to find a lover who will actually be loyal to you. That's very hard to find, though. Like, that's really hard. So, a lover who will actually be loyal. You know how women are like, oh, I want a 6 foot, or the meme is like, I want a 6 foot guy making 200K and blah blah blah, and then they find that that kind of guy is like 0.5% of the population. So, a lover who will actually be loyal is even more rare than that, unfortunately. So my best bet to you is not to become high status, actually. Don't go for popularity. That's a big mistake that women make. I mean, it seems like an obvious strategy, right? You try to get as much popularity, and then you basically you get advertising. That's basically what it is. It's an advertising model. The problem with that is you're going to be drawing guys who are drawn to the glam and the glitz and the glamour. That is not usually a good guy on average, right? You're going to get your, you know, insert popular male figure kind of guy. My best advice to you is to go to the gym and get in as good shape as you possibly can. You can't change your boob size, but you can change your ass. So get as nice of an ass as possible. And as tight as a waist as possible. And at a healthy weight, right? So I would say put on muscle. Be skinny, but put on muscle. Then I would advise making yourself as elegant as possible. Dress elegantly. Not sexy, elegantly. And then you need to learn female game, right? That's more complicated, but learn how to be poised, how to be refined. Like, try to be as classy as possible with your body language, everything, da-da-da. And you really want to weed out the weak men and the player men. So, I'm not saying have a bitch face, but definitely make yourself more intimidating. But sweet. That's a very difficult thing to do. Sweet but intimidating. Most women go for the I'm a bitch defense. You want to go for the thank you. You're very sweet, but you know, I'm not interested. So you're able to be not harsh. I don't know how to say it correctly. Harsh, I guess we'll just say that for now. But sweet at the same time. Truthful but sweet. But don't be a bitch. But do not go for so go for a lover. But here's the ultimate problem is you have to find a guy who is sexy enough that he'll fuck you on the first date, but then also a good enough person that he won't ditch you just because you slept with him quickly. But he won't ditch you if he's that's up to you actually. So you got to find a guy who's going to be loyal to you in the long term, but is sexy enough and as much of a player that he can fuck you on the first date. Like, you can't resist it, basically. You're so into him. But then this is on you. You have to be so good of a girl that he wants to stick around. That's going to be the hard part. Can you make sure that you are not overly jealous, overly annoying, clingy, bitchy, stupid, all that shit? Are you gonna be able to make sure that you're not all those things to a great extent where a great high value guy who has a lot of choices is going to pick you? That's up to you. That's where your greatness comes in. That's where your game comes in. The rest of it is just attracting him. But my first step would be get as attractive as possible. You know, like when the black pillars talk about face maxing, like looks maxing, right? Maximize your looks. You need to get as close to a 10 out of 10 in looks as possible. If you're not a traditionally good-looking woman, like you don't have a beautiful face, this is going to be hard. But if you can get a really good body and you can dress really, really well and you can do makeup really well, you might be okay. But then you need to be an amazing woman. And it has very little to do with your education level and how much money you make and all this shit. You just need to be a good woman. But you have to have respect for yourself too and not put up with bullshit. Victor, I've been seeing this girl for a few months now. She's submissive and generous. However, I don't find her as attractive, even though she's real nice. You don't find her attractive because she bores you. She bores you. I need some water, but I'll be right back. I need some water because I'm fucking getting parched. But it's because she's too nice. I'll tell you about that. It's your problem, though. Are you guys back already? Oh, you leave? Are you done? No, I'm just getting some water. You're talking so. Right, because I'm listening to music, so I guess I don't know how loud I am. They can still hear me now, but. Oh, yeah, I got my mic on.
Oh, hello. Sorry.
I brought my mic out. It's okay. Alright. Whew. I need some water. Holy shit. All right. So, that was my mom. If you guys could overhear it. She's too nice. So this girl's boring you because you're having the same problem girls have with nice guys. But here's the thing. It's more on you to make a girl excited, and it's more on like basically you shouldn't be so concerned with a girl being entertaining. You should be more concerned with peace. And that may sound like it sucks. Oh, she doesn't bore me. Oh, she's not that pretty. Oh. Well, there you go. I mean, what are we? Yeah, if she keeps asking it, then you need to make it clear and be like, look, I like you, but I'm not interested in a relationship, and I'm down to keep sleeping with you, but if you feel like that's gonna cause you pain, or it's gonna cause you, or if it's gonna cause you stress or disappointment, then you know maybe we shouldn't keep doing this. So give her a very clear out, but make it very, very clear you're not going to date her under any circumstances. Like very clear. What are your thoughts and opinions on the rise of Andrew Tate and those types of videos on the internet? They're very polarizing. This is good for young adults that are trying to become men, or is the extreme masculine thing a bit too much? I try not to comment on specific guys, but I would say it's a bit much. It's a bit much. And the advice coming from that side is very one-dimensional. They learned like a portion of the truth, and then they think it's this, and I'm telling you it's necessary, right? Like the red pill has what the blue pill doesn't, but the blue pill also has something the red pill doesn't. And you need to learn how to take what's healthy from both sides and integrate them into your own thing, into the truth. And the truth is very simply how to be a good person, but also do what works. That's it. Right? Do what works, but also be a good person. So what types of actions, behaviors, blah, 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 will get you what you want from women, but also what is ethical. Figure that out, and you're good. But yes, it's a bit too much. Oh, you live in Canada now, but you're from Lviv. Okay, cool. The girl giving you IOIs has a boyfriend. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Even if she got on her knees and begged you to suck some fucking dick, uh, it wouldn't matter. Don't fuck a girl with a boyfriend. I don't care how hot she is or how. I mean, it's not worth it, dude. Like I said, hell is very hot, man, for my friend. I'm not saying you're guaranteed to go there just because you fuck a girl as a boyfriend, but it definitely puts points in that direction. So don't do it. I'm 1-to-1 4 on that test. What do you mean you're 1-to-1 4? Like you're a 1? Thanks, Hector. And did you give me another $10? My man, look at you. Look at this shit. I appreciate it. And then I got another $10. Man, you guys are awesome. I appreciate it. It means a lot. Two questions. How do you avoid being seen as the pickup guy? Also, should you elaborate on why you used to sleep with girls with boyfriends? So, you avoid being seen as the pickup guy? Here's the trick. Flirt with girls, but don't ask them out unless you're very confident you'll get a yes. That was the thing. And don't invite them on dates. That was my two big errors. Is I was meeting a lot of girls and asking them all out and then taking them on dates. So what they were all feeling was, oh, he's taking girls on dates. So it's like he's playing these girls as if there's something serious. But if I was just pulling them always from parties, it would have less of an effect. Like, I'm not playing them. Because when you take a girl on a date, it gives her a certain signal to a certain degree that is a little bit more serious, right? So don't take girls on traditional dates in college. And secondly, when you are flirting with girls, you can flirt with a lot of girls, just don't pull the trigger. Once you pull the trigger, then you make it real. So be more vigilant about when you pull the trigger. That's how you avoid being the pickup guy. If you're careful with those. Now, you still need to try and pull the trigger and you'll fail. I'm not saying you have to be perfect. But if you do try to calibrate a bit more and not just like, I was just asking girls out left and right, that was too much. And just don't do traditional dates. Only do traditional dates from girls that you meet out in like the city and shit. Just ask girls to hang out. Why I used to sleep with girls who had boyfriends. I liked it because it was, I'd lost a girl in high school that I really liked. She had a boyfriend, but I never made a move because of my morals. And as time went on, I regretted it because I was like, well, you know, this guy would do the same thing to me, right? It's the reason a lot of people rationalize immoral decisions in their life because they think, okay, well, they would have did it to me. Or, you know, or here's another one. If she didn't cheat with me, she'll cheat with someone else, so it might as well be me, right? These are all the copes that people make, but at the end of the day, she's doing something immoral and you're helping her. But I used to do it because of that regret of fucking it up with that girl, because I knew I would have gotten her had I fucked her. Because it's just it's the power move, right? And girls are attracted to power, which is true. Women are attracted to power, but some types of power come at a cost that's greater than whatever gift, like the side effects are worse than the original disease. Does that make sense? So, and honestly, I enjoyed it because it was my way of getting back at anyone who had wronged me, bullied me, thought they were better than me. So it was my way of conquering the woman and the man at the same time. So I enjoyed hurting, like knowing that I took that girl from that guy. It made me feel strong, which are all evil motivations. Do not, I promise you, I cannot understate how much evil shit that will happen to you will be avoided if you avoid doing this one thing. Try not to fuck, like, don't fuck girls with boyfriends, and as much as you can, don't intoxicate yourself. Don't drink and don't smoke weed. And this is coming from a huge party boy who did like every drug under the sun. If you can avoid intoxicating yourself and fucking girls with boyfriends, don't intoxicate yourself. Don't fuck girls with boyfriends. Don't lie. Don't steal, and don't hurt people. You avoid these things, the amount of good shit that will happen to you is quite literally unlimited. It cannot be understated how important that is. Do not kill, don't steal, don't lie, don't fuck girls with boyfriends, or don't cheat if you have a girlfriend, and don't intoxicate yourself. No weed, no alcohol. Trust me, there is so much shit that you will save yourself from, you have no idea. I cannot possibly. I could spend the next 10 hours saying it over and over, and that wouldn't even begin to explain just how much you shouldn't do that shit. So basically, I slept with girls' boyfriends because I'm a fucking asshole. That's why. Karma ain't real? Oh, my friend. Oh, my friend. Hey, man, you gotta believe what you gotta believe. You go ahead and continue with that thought. We'll see where it gets you. I can tell you it's real. But I can't convince you. You have to see it for yourself. A9. You had a message there and then you retracted it. It was something about living on your own or something, but maybe you're rewriting it. Everyone, why you used to sleep with girlfriend? So yeah, I think that hopefully answers your question. Does height really matter? Yeah, it helps. I mean, I'm 5'8" and I've done fine, but it helps. Where I'm from, Norway. What do you mean? Norwegians are tall as fuck. Oh, okay. You felt you haven't benefited from it. No, height is a universal attractor. It's not necessary. So it's kind of like dick size. Okay, having a big dick is nice. Anyone that says otherwise is lying. But you can be fine without it. I have a client who admitted to me that he has a 3.5-inch dick hard. Right? He straight up. We talked about it on our last call. He said, "I got to tell you, I have a 3.5-inch dick, and I had one girl get upset about it. Only one." And he's fucked like 15 or more girls. And he said it's the only girl who's ever complained. But it was interesting is that he was talking to her before the date. She was getting very sexual, or before they actually fucked. Well, almost fucked. And on the date, she straight up asked him, "How big is your dick?" And he didn't answer. He said something like, "Oh, it's as big as you make me." Basically, like it gets as hard as you make me hard. He should. I think if he would have been honest and told her it was small, she would have been okay with it. I think it was the surprise because she had asked. But it is a possibility that one particular girl might have been a bit of a size queen, I guess. Like she cares about size. Some girls care about size, right? But he's also fucked 15 girls, and they came back for more. So clearly it wasn't an issue. And that's a small dick. 3.5 inches is well below average, right? So most guys are packing 5 inches, 5.5 inches. So if he's doing okay with 3.5 inches, but having a big dick helps. So I'm not tall, right? So I don't know the advantages of being tall, but I do know the slight disadvantages of being shorter. But I do know the advantages of the other thing, and it does help a little bit. Um, I just realized I'm probably really loud because I've been listening to music and I've been talking over the music. I'm probably like screaming in the mic, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Height's not that big. But if you're 6'2", you have been benefiting from it. If a girl's ever had a one-night stand, should that automatically be considered as not good material for a relationship? Yeah, it depends. Was it from social circle or was it from... If it was a guy that she knew for a long time through like social circle and then they just hook up, that might be okay. But if it's like a random guy she met out at a bar, yeah, I think it would disqualify her from a relationship. Do you know why Chase moved to Asia instead of staying in America? He wanted adventure. Do you use any stories or routines? Can you share something? No, I don't use any routines at all. I tell stories if they're like relevant to the conversation. No, I never go on a date with any sort of like, gambits or routines. That's not my style at all. I personally don't like that kind of style. My best outline for running a smooth date. I mean, it's that's hard, but I'll try to think of something really simple. So a smooth date is as the date progresses, you also progress in how you're expressing your interest. Non-verbally, physically, eye contact, facial expressions, vocal tonality, and you're slowly leading the conversation deeper. Actually, I should be going this way, right? So you want to try, and by the end of the date, get as close to knowing her better than anyone has ever known her, and have her tell you things she's never told anyone else. That is how you make a connection with her. And at the same time, you're non-verbally and with physical touch, slowly but carefully, making her feel more connected to you on a sexual level, right? Looking at her with bedroom eyes, maybe you touch her on the thigh for a second. Make it clear what you're interested in. And if you can build a connection and also show that desire, but also like respect, I guess you can put it that way, you can steadily increase it as the date goes on. That's a great date. Because you will at some point reach a point where she's ready to sleep with you. So once you have that, you got to know how to pull. And if you know how to pull, that's a smooth date. But you have to be paying attention to her body language, her words, her facial expressions, and vocal tonality, and seeing how she's reacting in real time to everything that you're doing. Because the problem with routines and shit is that they're very inauthentic. And the plastic cookie cutter mold is not going to work for every girl. I mean, you can get tons of success with it, like Alec Rolstead. Like he does tons of gambits and shit like that, right? And it seems to work. But he does have a very particular demographic, which is night game. He just goes at clubs and bars. So he has found a niche where his style works. But he doesn't go on dates and shit. So all of that stuff that works on at clubs at night probably won't work in a more relaxed dating setting. I scheduled a date through text last Thursday and haven't texted since then. But the night, so you last Thursday, so a few days ago. But the date is this upcoming Tuesday. Yeah, you should text her today. Um, so today is Sunday, right? Yeah, I would text her, be like, "Hey, hope you had a good weekend." Just like, where is it? It's probably like, "Hey, happy Sunday. Hope you're having a good weekend." Very simple. Just check in with her. Hello, human being. I'm here to ask anything. Go ahead. Ask anything, fellow human being. I'm in Orange County, California, if you know where that is. Yeah. Yep, I do. I did an anagram test on another website. It says I'm type 2, closely followed by type 4. So if you're a type 2, Let me see. I forgot what that is. The help or the people pleaser. Yeah. If this is you, you need to be very careful with being too much of a people pleaser. Having boundaries. That's gonna be uh Alec Ralston. That's his name, Alec Ralston. He's on the website. You can go on. He writes articles mainly. So if you go to girlschase.com and you just look up, I mean, he writes tons of articles. So he's always teaching stuff like this. What do I think of other dating coaches? I've only briefly talked to Coach Kyle, so I can't really attest to his game. I had a quick conversation with him. Austin Summers, I did an interview with him for his he had a product where he wanted to interview like a bunch of dating coaches, so he interviewed me there. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about. Um, I've never seen him in person, so I don't know, but he seems like he knows what he's talking about. Everyone else, I really don't know. I personally don't. I really don't like anybody's game except for my own, to be honest. Um, there's a reason I work for Girls Chase because I like Chase's mentality and philosophy. I think most other people are subpar. They're not bad. I just think I'm the best. So I really don't give a lot of guys other. I don't give other guys a lot of thought because I've already figured most of it out. And when I do look at other guys, not anyone in particular, I'm like, yeah, that's okay, but you're missing a lot. I think they lack nuance and they lack specificity. I think they have general ideas of what works, but they don't know exactly like why it works. How much do looks factor on the equation overall? What do you mean by looks? Do you mean like your natural face? Not that much. If you're asking like how you dress yourself, how you groom yourself, extremely important. Extremely important. I even just had a friend of an old client of mine. He messaged me. He's like, "Dude, I've been like really taking care of myself, dressing well, you know, making sure my hair care is always looking nice, doing a skincare routine." He's like, "I'm getting so much more responses from women," and I'm like, he's like, "Dude, it's so anyone who says looks don't matter is lying." I'm like, "Yeah, it's not your natural face, right? It's how you present yourself." So fashion and fitness. Fitness takes a while to get though. You just need to be like how I am now is fine. I used to be fucking ripped and big, and it did help, right? But all you really need is to not be overweight and have a little bit of mass. Like I could probably use a couple, maybe 5 pounds of muscle more, 5 or 10 pounds of muscle, and I'd be fine. I'd be at like perfect. There was a point where I was like really fucking strong, and it did help. I will tell you, it did help. But what helped more was my fashion. Fashion is number one. Haircut. If you don't have really healthy skin, I suggest you try and like do a skincare routine. Um, Eat healthy, but fashion. Just dress well and have a nice haircut and don't be overweight. That's huge. But in terms of like your face, I mean, if you get in good shape, your face is gonna look better. But yeah, you don't need to be super good looking. Um, but yeah, A9 again. If you're a people pleaser, you really need boundaries. So you're naturally going to go overboard when it comes to being nice. So you want to actually pull yourself back always by like a good like 10-15%. And see how you just have to see what works. Podcast when I listened to old shit and it was pretty cool. Podcasts. Like with me and Chase or like like the Girl Chase podcast. I mean, I don't really personally I don't see a point in a podcast when you have video format. Like I just think video is it's Do you mean like a podcast specifically like I'm inviting someone on like a podcast? Like not a video format where I just give you a lesson? You mean like a conversation? Is that what you mean by podcast? Right? Because when I think podcast, I always think audio only, but I know what you mean. Obviously, video too. I don't really have anyone I'm interested in interviewing. When I say I really don't care for other people's content, I'm being serious. I don't care for other people's content. I don't think anyone else is putting out anything even close to what I'm doing. I've seen it all. None of it's impressive. So I really don't have a desire. The only desire I would have to podcast other people is for clout. But I want to win on my own. I mean, I've occasionally done stuff with other people, but I have no desire to get to the top through clout, which is what most people do, and it's a smart strategy. I don't blame them for doing it. I mean, everyone in every field does, clout exchange podcasting. And I accept occasional podcasts that I get invited on, but I don't like anyone else's shit. So I have no desire to hear their opinion. It's a smart marketing move, but I just don't particularly like it. When you and Chase refer to how many men she's been with, do you refer her to body count? Yes, her body count. Yeah. And her body count should be mostly relationships, or all, ideally. But if she's had one hookup, but he was a guy she knew for a long time, that's okay. Why doesn't Chase ever put out any infield? It couldn't hurt you guys' popularity because you guys are definitely legit. We both have considered infield many times, but we both just don't like it. It lacks class. I mean, this is coming from a guy who's very vulgar, right? I just don't find it classy. Like I don't like. I mean, I was doing those reviews of that guy doing infield, so it could be very enlightening. I don't know. I just don't like the. I don't like the idea of filming a chick. I don't know. I think my infield would be really enlightening to a lot of people, and it would probably surprise a lot of you because it's really not something fancy. I'm not doing anything fancy, but I just have the fundamentals down really, really well. I don't know. I just never found it interesting. If she replies to the check-in text, should I engage and mention the date? If so, how? No. You should never mention the date again. You should only mention it the day of the date. Tuesday. So Tuesday morning, like 10, 11. Hey, you know, uh, sorry, I trailed off. I was thinking about something else. Um, hey, good morning. I'll see you at 6 or see you at 7. Morning, Sarah. I'll see you later at 7. It's the only time you should mention the date. Don't bring up the date again ever before the actual day of the date. Never. What about type 7s? Adventurers, visionaries. Let's see. The busy variety. Spontaneous, versatile, inquisitive, scattered. Basic fear, being deprived and being in pain. To be satisfied and content. So are you a 6-wing or 8-wing? Are you entertainer or? So if this is your type along with the people pleaser, you probably have a big tendency to be over enthusiastic and way too involved, right? So like I said, you need to pull back your energy another 10-15%. Really need to pull it back. I have a lot of 7 in mine too. I'm primarily a 1, but I have a lot of 7. Um, you really have to reel yourself back and discipline yourself. Because you'll just overwhelm her with energy. And it can just be off-putting. So I would suggest that everything that you do, from texting to conversations to how you show interest, attempt for the next like couple months. See what would happen if I reduce it by like 15-20%, and then calibrate it. Maybe it's 15, maybe it needs to be 30%. I don't know. Like just gauge like how much when I start to get optimal reactions. Because if you pull back too much, then you're not showing any interest, and then you're boring. If you're doing it too much, you're overwhelming someone with energy, right? So you need to find that middle ground for you. Type 7 and a 6-wing entertainer. Yeah, yeah. If you're an entertainer and you also have the people pleasing thing, you're like off the walls, like hey, nah, yeah, right? You gotta chill. You really gotta chill. But let it out in spurts, like chatting, chatting, chatting. Hey, da 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 da. Here's my energy. Chatting, chatting, chatting. Like that's a really cool skill to have, like to be the center of attention and then just like totally drop off, and you're just like in another world, and then you come back, and then you're out, and then you come back. You never overstay your welcome. Can I approach girls in front of a nightclub the same way I would day game? Yes, correct. Yeah, I mean, I approach girls the same everywhere, but the answer is yes. I think it would help Chase specifically because he doesn't come off very charismatic when he comes video for. That's not Chase's personality. Chase is not a hey guys. He's not a YouTuber. He's a chill, quiet conversationalist. That's his. That's his. Chase is like if if Xanax was a person, that's Chase. The dude is just chill all the fucking time. If you spend enough time with Chase, he doesn't have the type of charisma that you normally call charisma. He doesn't have YouTube charisma. But if you stay in a conversation with him long enough, he knows how to just have this like, and then eventually it's engaging because he's calm and he's very respectful. But he's not your typical type of charismatic person. What do you think of Parisian girls? Are they really hard as they say? I don't know. I've only fucked one French girl, and she came to visit. She was staying with my. She was couch surfing at my place. Um, I didn't even know if she was from Paris. I think she was. But if you ever hear anyone say girls are hard from this place or this place, it's not true. Getting laid is easy everywhere, unless you're in some fucking super conservative country. Not showing enough interest in dialing back too much is how I lost my first girlfriend. Tried so hard to be cool, I barely made eye contact with her with other classmates. Yeah, okay, right. So you know, you know what happens when you go to the extreme. So just pull back, but not too much. But now that you've seen one extreme, you can kind of play with it, you know. And it's cool to jump. Go from being like super. There was one girl who I briefly dated. She had some of the best pussy I've ever had, and she really played the whole cool girl. She played it too hard, but she would occasionally come out of her shell and be like super like fun, and I loved seeing that side of her. It was just it was unfortunate that she didn't show enough of it. It's unfortunate. Very beautiful girl, but plays way too cool for school. Should I let girls couch surf? Yes. Yes, you should definitely do couch surfing. Definitely. It's a great way to meet people. And take guys too. As long as they're cool. Don't take couples. Don't fucking take a couple. That's fucking lame. But definitely take a group of guys and girls. Oh, sorry. McKissum. Does he prefer day game over night game? Yeah. Yeah, he prefers day game. It suits his style. But he does night game. Alrighty, boys. It's about an hour and a half in. I'm surprised by the viewer count. I'm gonna be consistent now. Now that I'm back in America, I can actually be on at a reasonable time and not at night. So I will be on more. But I will see you guys next week, same time. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry if I was screaming. I'm in the Midwest. Sorry if I was screaming in the beginning. I'm listening to music, so I was probably like trying to hear myself. Um, but if you guys are interested in any of the shit that I was talking about, I highly suggest you get my day game course. It's in the description. Um, Here, let me just put it again. I'm really bad at sales. I did live in Cali for a while. So there's my day game course. Highly suggest you get that. Also, you should definitely get my texting book. This one's cheap. So if you don't want to drop 300 on the day game course, which you should, there's I lived in San Diego for about a year. There's my texting course. And then if you want to sign up for coaching, what I suggest is sign up for a just message me on Instagram. It's the easiest way. And send me a DM and tell me you're coming from the live stream. And we'll have a chat about my coaching and see if that's what you want. Because one-on-one coaching is the absolute best way for you to learn. It's better than everything. But for learning just my day game process and my texting game, you need those two courses. But then for everything else, I definitely suggest coaching. So, hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I'll be on next week, same time. I'll try not to be 7 minutes late. I was just trying to scarf down some waffles so I could get some calories. And yeah, it was fun. I'll be back next week. Hopefully we'll get even more people. Again, I'm surprised. We had a lot of people. So, alright. Good luck, everyone. Love you. Bye.